All right, and we are back once again, this time for round number 3, Infinity versus Tremor, with Infinity piloting the nurse on the Gas Heaven against Tremor's Survivor team. I don't know about you, but I am always excited for the S tier round, and we will not have to wait long.
Oh yeah, I mean, who doesn't like to watch some strong killers wreak havoc on what was the map called? It Wrecking Yard, was it?
This
Oh,
one
no,
is
Gas Heaven. I'm
Gas
sorry,
Heaven.
Gas Heaven. I don't know why it's not Wrecking Yard, even though I knew it was Gas Heaven at the same time. It's such a weird brain fart.
Hey, Gas 7 Wrecker's Yard. What's the difference, especially with the new change? With the new change, I will be
Yep.
honest, Gas 7 and Wrecker's very similar. Also, really amazing play there by the Zarina, getting some value out of that firecracker to light burn the nurse. So, really well played, to say the least. That being said, Nurse a little bit tripped up there, but Zarina getting found out. A misblink there by the nurse as well. Zarina making a lot of distance here.
I didn't even see them. Like them. I mean, I think the nurse did realize the moment that the animation of the arm dropping it, but I didn't even see it. So they tried to evade it. Didn't work, but that was a good play for sure. That was actually pretty crazy. And down you go. Never mind.
Yeah, and a brilliant dead hard there by Zarina, extending his chase. It's already been almost an entire half of the Corruption Invention, so about a minute and 15 seconds had passed at that point in time. I imagine Jen's probably pretty well progressed, and we will see a little bit of a speedy nurse here, as they do in fact have an agitation.
Yeah, we are walking we're very speedy. We're trying to get things done really fast. And I don't blame this nurse. That play at the beginning did slow it down for a little bit. Hopefully she can catch up. Because every second does count. When you play this or killer, especially.
Without a doubt, I will say we do see an unhook there on this arena. I have 4 people from the K as well. The gen here pretty well progressed, as we do hear another gen pop in the distance, but that there is in fact going to be a Colubrine and a pop goes the Weasel, regressing at 200% per second, in addition to the 25% regression based on the amount of progression it had. And looks like Nancy going to be forced out into the corner here. But honestly, not a bad place for survivors to be. One thing I always like to point out is that the best place to get chased by a nurse is the edge of the map, because it really does limit the nurse's ability to blink in the full capacity. But we do see a Colubrine noise notification. Nurse sees it too, and will be going back to that gen to try and interrupt, most likely either Zarina or the Atom. Looks like it was in fact the Zarina, and they will reapply Colubrine here.
Yeah, I've been seeing this combo wombo recently. The Colubrine and pop. It used to be the eruption Colubrine, but now it's the pop. I don't blame people. I don't blame. I know we gotta get some gen regression help somehow. So hail to the new combo wombo.
Indeed, indeed. With that being said, Zarina taking another hit there, doubling back, trying to make a little bit of distance, but unable to do so. Zarina now will be put on second hook, meaning that they are 1 hook away from being sent back to the campfire via the entity. We'll have to wait and see what comes of that, as we do see this gen being worked on once again, and Kate getting healed after their 4 people earlier.
All right, yeah, everybody's I'm assuming it's one person on this gen. I haven't really, I mean, I've seen Nancy. They left Nancy at a certain loop, and I have not seen the other 2. Kate and Adam have been unreachable at this point, unless this blink may find that person, or those, there they are. Oh, that's Nancy.
Yeah, it looks like they found the survivor they are looking for. That is, in fact, the injured Nancy. Going to the corner here, trying to double back to get a bit of distance. There's the flashlight, but unable to make it work, as we do see Nancy going down as a second gen is completed. 3 more gens remaining in this match, as we do see Zarina unhooked in the distance. And another for the people from the Kate. They have been getting a lot of for the people value, to say the least.
Yeah, I was gonna say this. Nancy was brave to be on that gem back there, whereas it's not completely dead zone, but for an injured person against a nurse, it can be some type of a risk.
Yeah, and another pop goes a Weasel and Colubrine here on this gen. I think that the survivors might need to cut their losses here, because that gen is not going anywhere anytime soon. We do see scratch marks going towards the unhook, but no sign of the survivor who may have been making their way there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm the type of stubborn survivor who, if I notice a killer is trying to not get that gen done, I will get that gen done whether you like it or not.
That is fair. That is fair. We do see another gen popping off, though. Third gen, and with S tiers, it very much is the case of not how many survivors escape, but how many gens you complete. So if, for instance, these survivors are able to get another completed gen, that could be huge here for Tremor and their killer, who will be following up in the next trial. But Zarina taking another hit, and I believe a survivor moving to second stage. I want to say that was the who is that? The Nancy who moved to second stage earlier?
Yes. So Zarina's now dead. Nancy will be death hook next time if they get caught.
Yeah, so a little bit surprising to see that, but maybe these survivors working on gens nonetheless, trying to get that fourth generator, as I was mentioning earlier.
Yeah, the other two are trying to be the gen jockeys. At least Adam, since Kate looks like has done, to my knowledge, has done one unhook due to for the people. So I think Adam is playing the sneaky gen jockey at the moment.
It would definitely seem that way. Yeah. Kate over here injured, by the way. Nurse trying to identify where they have gone, and looks like the Kate trying to make a mad dash for some distance to try and keep the nurse busy. I imagine with the for the people, very likely the deliverance player, and I think the nurse might think that too. We'll have to wait and see if they decide to go for a slug out.
No, picking up. Just get out of the way, the nurse said, if that's the case.
Yeah, honestly, not a bad choice. Looking at these gens right now, they're in a little bit of a tight pack. They're not like a 3-gen, but since the nurse can blink through the car pile, which divides these two gens, it really does shorten and shrink the map down for the nurse specifically, while forcing the survivors to go a long, long way in order to get any potential gen progression. So right now, nurse looking like they will end this match with 2 gens remaining. And looks like that is, in fact, a deliverance from the Kate.
Yep, yeah, you were very right. And when you notice, like, those very altruistic, reliable perk, on certain survivors, you can kind of, get the gist of them, what their role is in the game. So, yeah, good cause there. Deliverance, very useful.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like Nurse going back over to the other side of the map, and looks like these survivors just trying to really focus on these 2 gens that are as far away as possible from one another. Makes a lot of sense. Even with Pop Goes Weasel, Call Up Brian, it's definitely going to be difficult for the Nurse to protect both of them. Though if they are able to get quick downs, as they did get a pretty quick hit on the Nancy, that would potentially mean they can get one or both, as we see the injured Kate taking a very risky play and going back for that generator, but Nurse catching onto their plan just in nick of time.
What I tell you, these survivors are brave. They're trying to get that hard gen out of the way. Kate going down, Nancy potentially going back. Or not, or yes, are they now?
Looks like Nancy did not make their way back. Nurse will come in with the Colubrine application. There's still 2 gens with some pretty decent distance between them, so with the amount of progress on that gen, survivors can definitely play the long game if they play it right. Keep in mind, though, that Nancy is on death hook, so they do need to stay away from the nurse as long as humanly possible, lest they end up being sent back to campfire via the entity.
Yep. Yeah, as you said, these gens are pretty spread apart, but yeah, with nurse, I can probably, stand in the middle and blink to all of them at once, if not right in front of them. She could just get a nice ears distance to just hear the progression. So nurse here, even though they got a decent spread apart region, yeah, it's nothing. She's good. She can put
yeah, looks like the unhook there on the Kate, most likely from the Adam. We see the Nancy trying to go back to that generator. Looks like Nurse, seeing blood in the water, will go back for the Nancy, trying to make a little bit of distance here. Nancy going to be dragging the Nurse as far away as humanly possible to try and allow for their teammates to get that 5th generator. If they can get that 5th generator, it actually puts them in a really, really strong position. Though unable to get the light burn there, they will slug out the Nancy, and looks like Nurse will try and make their way back to one of these 2 gens. The question is, which one has the most progression? Which one are these survivors on? We see scratch marks back there, suggesting that the survivors are here, potentially leaving very early, though, as we see scratch marks on either side of that gen.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds like a 70%. Oh, my people!
Yeah, the blast mine coming on in. Colorblind being reapplied, but Nurse now having to be very careful here. Two gens of a lot of progress, a bit of distance between the two. Survivor's going back for that pickup on the Nancy that we saw earlier. Keep in mind that they were on Death Hook, so may have been the right move to actually kill them and move on to the final two, but they do find the Kate here, and now it comes down to the Adam and the Nancy to see if they are able to get this last generator.
Ooh, good prediction. Unless they had good ears and saw where they were running to without having to see them. Yeah, Kate, I believe. I think this is Shark's second hook, if I remember correctly.
Yep, that would be correct. This would be their last hook in instance that they do go for the pickup. Nurse feeling confident with where their gens are right now will in fact get the hook here, leaving just the Adam and the Nancy. Mind you, Adam has not been hooked yet throughout this entire match, so Nurse gonna have to be very careful lest they do risk the Adam escaping via the exit gate or potentially the hatch.
Yep. Yeah, Adam has been found a couple times, but Nurse has decided to leave the chase, and that or the Adam actually lost her. But this gen, yeah, this gen was tabbed only, but regressed down to like 20%. I think that sounds like.
And with that Pop Goes Weasel Colorblind being reapplied once again, gonna be really difficult for survivors to complete that generator. Nurse realizing what was happening there, survivors seeing that the Nurse was going to go for them, calling it out, and Nurse is going to be going for the Adam, it would seem, though Adam getting a lot of distance there. Nurse having to really think whether or not it's worth their time going for the chase, and looks like it is not, as they are instead going to be trying to protect this gen over by Shaq.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, it's smart for this killer to for sure leave that chase because Adam is clearly hiding. And it's also a good choice for the survivors to do to get gens done, but Nancy has the turn to do this as well. Let's see how far we can go with this, because we are running around. Oh, hello. Oh.
Yeah, a bit of an unfortunate vault there by the Nancy into the Nurse. We did see the Colorblind noise notification on that gen that the Adam is on, and Nancy just trying to bring the Nurse as far away as possible, getting those light burns, stopping the Nurse from blinking onto them again and again. Nurse with a prediction blink and will successfully get the hit. The question is, does the Nurse have enough time to get back to that gen with Nancy on the ground? I guess only time will tell. And Nurse making a mad dash there. No Colorblind noise notifications to tell us whether or not the Adam is still there or not. And we'll have to wait and see.
Oh, I don't think they'll be working on a gen. If they are, they might be maybe bamboozling the Nurse, thinking that they're maybe doing that one back there. I have done that myself before, because killers will focus on two gens, thinking that those are the many ones that are being touched, and they don't realize that the third gen that's like maybe more riskier, maybe more hidden. They don't check on it most of the time. So she hasn't checked that far back gen back in that corner. You never know.
Yeah, and I think that they're trying to figure that out too, what the game plan is. We have not seen Adam. We do see the Nancy currently bleeding out. Mind you, they are on second stage, meaning that they bleed out now. It's the same amount of points as if it were the final hook. So Nurse can really just take their time and slow the game down, stopping the Adam from doing much. But if the Adam is able to get the pickup and the potential heal, that would put these survivors back in the game for the potential of getting this 5th gen. Getting an escape would be a tall order, but looks like Nancy crawled into a corner, and we do see the pickup from the Nurse.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what actually is Adam doing. Is he hiding for Hatch, or is he actually working on that far away gen? I'm just curious to see what the heck his plan is. But due to Nancy being death hook, we're not gonna let them. We're not gonna hook them because there's no hook. Or I'm sorry, there's no. Well, there was a hook, but.
Yeah, Nurse just wanted to get them a little bit closer to Shaq, I think. Yeah. And so they're going to pick them up again, drag them closer to Shaq. And once they get them either to a hook that's nearby or just close enough, I imagine they'll go for the hook and the hatch close.
Luckily, they have agitation, so they're speedy. They're gonna get there for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt. And there it is. Nancy's impacted campfire via the entity. Nurse right next to the Shack As far as exit gates are concerned, it looks like they are pretty close by as well. So Nurse will be able to keep an eye out on both locations. And we'll have to wait and see what Adam has in store here, as no chances of the generators being completed. And now it comes down to these exit gates. There's the Adam 2, and I believe this will be the last chase of trial number 1, round number 3 for qualifier number 2 of season 7 of Champions of the Fog.
Oh, barely got him.
And just a little bit too early on that lunge, but a quick follow-up thereafter. And this looks like it will, in fact, be a 4K at 4 gens completed, 1 remaining. And I'm trying to go for that corner tech there, unable to do so successfully, as they will end up going down. And that will be that. We are going to be switching over to Tremor, going to be playing as the killer, piloting the Blight against Infinity Survivor Team, where their win condition is going to be a 4K at 3 gens or less, and tie condition at a 4K at 4 gens completed. We'll have to wait and see, but thankfully we'll not have to wait long, as we'll be getting that lobby set up here in just a few moments. That being said, guys, we are going to go on a quick break. But before we do want to remind everyone here today that you, yes, you, the viewers, are our sponsors. So that as they watch, all the bits that I tip, all the subs that I buy, and of course with the Rogue Energy buy, using the code COTF, goes supporting Champions of Fog and the prize pool for Group A and Group B. But even more importantly, if you haven't already, make sure to stop on by and say hi over on our YouTube channel, as we are trying to get partnered over there. We just need to hit 1,000 subscribers. I think we're at like 400 right now, so just another 600 subscriptions would go a long way. So share it out to your friends, share it out to your communities, would be much appreciated. With that being said, we'll see you in just a little bit. All right, and we are back for the final trial of Qualifier number 2, round number 3, Tremor's Blight against Infinity's Survivor team on the Gas Heaven. And they are going to need to get a 4K at 4 generators completed in order to tie the set. Otherwise, and if they are aiming for a win condition, it will be 3 generators or left remaining at the 4K. With that being said, we are going to be jumping right on in. Blight already out on the prowl, going for a blighted rush. And looks like they are going to be checking behind the other side of the car pile. Did see some crows off in the distance, and looks like they see some scratch marks too.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is gonna be an insane blight match with that win condition. Let's see how efficient this player can be. Also, the corrupt zone seems to be pretty legit so far. But let's see if we can catch someone out here. Very rare to find someone in the corrupt zone. Oh, there. As I said that, there they are. Oh.
Yep, there's the Adam, but Blight just unable to get the hit over the vault in time. And looks like they will be potentially dropping chase here, as they do see some scratch marks heading over towards the active gen. But a bit of a mind game here on the Adam will result in a hit. Looks like Blight might have other thoughts here, as they might go for a quick down. And that sounded like a pallet drop and a firecracker to boot. And looks like Blight, not phased by the firecracker, will get the down.
Very, very well done, attentive, very, that was just very impressive, despite the blind.
Yeah, no, really well played there by the Blight, to say the least. Do want to point out that we do find out what the second perk is. Keen-eared viewers may have noticed that was, in fact, a brutal strength, allowing them to break that pallet just a little bit faster. As far as what the 2 remaining perks are is yet to be seen, but Blight is going to be going around trying to find where these survivors are at, as we do hear the first gen popping off. These survivors just have 4 more gens remaining before they claim victory here in round number 3.
4 gens, yeah, it's doable, but this map, it depends on if they pay attention also to the setup of the gens, making sure that they don't regen themselves due to the condition. So
yeah, absolutely. But Blight going for the Ada will get the hit. This looks to be a 1-for-1 trade potentially, but looks like Blight wanting to get the BT hit on the Adam instead, surprisingly enough. Honestly, I think they had enough time for the double down.
I believe so too. Oh yeah, I believe they're gonna get this unless Adam makes a good play here. Nope. You were right. You predicted correctly.
Yeah, and really well played there by the Blight. If you notice that they played that really smart, kind of faking the Adam out, showing that they're going to go left, and then knowing Adam would probably rotate right. So really well played there by the Blight, to say the least. And now 2 survivors down on the ground, 2 about to be hooked. This is a really, really strong position for this Blight, though. Looking around at the hooks, not many for them to work with. So they're going to have to drag the Ada quite far away.
Uh-oh. Oh, they're gonna wiggle. Yeah, they're gonna have to drop.
Yeah, Blight sends that to going back for the unhook. We do see Adam getting hit with a For the People from that Claudette, and looks like Claudette trying to get a little bit of distance there towards the Ada potentially, but Blight with eyes only for the Adam will get the hit on them here at this filler tile. And Adam trying to throw the pallet, but honestly, this tile just is not all too strong. So it looks like they will end up going down here.
They are gonna change it though, from what I heard on the last dev patch notes. They are gonna be changing this soon. So it's good, but we'll see how well it actually is. And Adam is gone.
Yeah, only healthy survivor here, Yoichi, taking a hit, not healthy for long. 3 survivors currently injured, 2 gens completed, and we do see this one about the pop, but Blight going in for the kick will get Blast Mine instead. Though after the stun, we will see that is in fact a Colubrine, and pop goes the Weasel. So that gen gonna get some pretty heavy regression, to say the least, as we do see Ada who will take another hit. No matter what, it seems the survivor's just unable to fully heal.
I was gonna say the same thing. I'm like, Adam gets it for the people, and he just does not get that much time to breathe. Yeah, this Blight is just everywhere. They're not letting anybody take a break here.
And this Blight trying to wait out for a potential dead hard, but Claudette potentially just wasting the Blight's time there. We
Yep.
do see Yoichi there on the hill. Blight deciding not to go for the rush, instead going for the pickup here on the Claudette. Makes a lot of sense, honestly. Claudette did have For the People, which is not unheard of to have both Deliverance and Unbreakable available to them. So not wanting to wait too long, but we do see scratch marks here. And I want to say this is the Ada.
I wanna say you're right because Yoichi was at the hill, so yep. Yeah, because one person's gone already.
Yep, and Yoichi going for the unhook, a little bit surprising there. So no Deliverance. Either that or potentially Deliverance never activated from the Atom before. So that would be interesting to kind of look at the endgame screen and say with any degree of certainty. But Blight going for the rush here, trying to mind game the Ada, getting some really quick bounces, but just unable to get the hit.
Yeah, she used that car pile pretty well. I wonder how efficient that will be in the new setup on the car pile split. I'm sure it'll be the same unless they take away those car piles are like doubled up right there.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But Blight going back for the Ada, not want to give them any time on that gen, will successfully get the hit, and Ada will end up getting away as Blight a little bit worried about these remaining gens. Keep in mind the win condition as of right now is 3 gens or less completed. So if an instance of ours get just one more gen, that will result in a tie set if a 4K results there. We do hear the Claudette on the other side of this tile, and looks like the Blight does too, but instead drops the chase, instead going for the Yoichi here.
Does he have a hoodie on, this Yoichi? Am I crazy?
It's
right?
it's the beanie, it looks like, yeah.
Oh, the beanie. I was gonna say, what the heck? That looks like the Little Nightmares character.
Really patient swing there by the Blight, not wanting to swing too early. However, not satisfied with the down, will end up going for the Yoichi as well. And honestly, in this scenario, a tie is not a bad result. That would probably mean that both these teams here would end up getting an invite, or qualifying rather, for Season 7 of COTF. But Blight wanting to secure that 4K here and now, though. Question is the Ada sitting on a gen all the while?
Oh, she could be, actually. She might be on the end one, the one that she was trying to work on, that Blight interrupted her at, because that's a 3-gen back there. So I want to say they're trying not to get gen locked. So yeah, look, he's going straight for that 3-gen back there. Protect it, or preserve it even.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. We do see that immediate unhook from the Yoichi, and this gen definitely has a lot of progress, and there's the scratch marks from the Ada as well. Honestly, really well timed there by the Blight. Not sure if that was just kind of circumstance or purposeful, but really well played nonetheless. We do see that Pop Goes Weasel and Colubrine coming in clutch, as well as Ada will end up going in here and going down as well.
Ooh, yeah, the call out was very, very, very early, so she was able to get away, but Blight zoomed right at her.
Yeah, and I don't think the survivors have any time to really come back to this gen as of right now. Not to mention Colubrine will give the Blight some information, though, just to make sure they are going to go back to the gen, but they do risk the Claudette and Yoichi completing that 4th gen. So at this point in time, it is a tie set between Infinity and Tremor. However, if an instance that Tremor is able to get the 4K right now, that will result in both of these teams qualifying. Otherwise, Infinity will get the qualifying spot, and Tremor may not get it. It will depend on a multitude of factors, but Yoichi and Claudette getting found here at this broken tile, and looks like it was Ada with the Deliverance.
Yeah, for sure. I thought Ada had already got hooked. That's why it confused me for a second here.
I thought so too, but I guess not. And Blight just unable to get the hit there on the Claudette, but finally get it nonetheless. But did end up wasting a lot of time. Blight realizing that the Ada might be on the gen once again. We do see scratch marks from the Yoichi as well, so Blight gonna go for a quick tag to try and slow the game down, but they can't wait all too long lest Ada does complete that gen.
Nah, it's still... Wait, is it regressing? I can't tell. He moved so fast. Okay, she actually ran away.
It was not regressing. Ada will end up going down. Really great navigation there by the Blight to be able to figure out where everyone was at. And since it was not regressing, that does mean Ada did touch the gen, so no chance of a decisive strike. And Deliverance ending right then as they were hooked.
Oh lordy, yeah, this Blight is just running around everywhere, causing destruction. There's a menace in the gas heaven, everywhere, everywhere. At
Yeah,
least we got it.
absolutely. Looks like these survivors, though, taking the time to heal,
Yep.
so a little bit of a reset. But question is, will it matter? As at this point in time, Blight's in a pretty commanding position. A little bit of a pseudo 3-gen as well for the Blight to work with.
Yeah, yeah. Ada's caught up in the Well, that's a pallet right there. So even if they get unhooked, they could potentially do something with that pallet. But that's it. That's all they got at the moment if they get unhooked. But it looks like Blight's protecting his prey here.
Yeah,
Oh.
and Yoichi going down. Not sure what the plan was there. Maybe an attempt at a For the People in order to try and get, like, For the People's Soul Guard. I'm
Yep.
not sure, but either ways, it didn't work out well for these survivors. Claudette going for the unhook. A
Wow.
grab canceled there on the
I saw that.
Claudette. And that now leaves the Claudette in chase. Yoichi on the ground and Ada up and ready to potentially get a pickup. I'm not sure if they get that in time.
Oh, they did. Oh shoot. Okay. Well, now yeah, we're gonna go for the 4-man slug. I'm sorry. Yeah, or not.
Yeah, looks
pick it
like
up?
Blight wanting
Oh.
to hedge their bets here, opting to go for the hook on the Ada, getting her out of the match. Keep in mind, Claudette also is on death hook, so they're one hook away from being sent back to the campfire via the entity.
True.
So Blight here wanting to ensure that they do not get a fresh escape. Will go for the Yuichi
Wow.
and just barely dodging that blighted rush as they end up with a vacuum pallet instead.
Man, this feels like a very thrilling game. If I was in this match, I'd be constantly on my toes.
Yeah, absolutely. But there's the down on the Yoichi. Looks like Blight wanted to go back and find the Claudia as soon as possible. Mind you, they are on death hook, so if they were to bleed out, it would not really matter in the grand scheme of things. But
Yep.
Blight wanting to secure the kill nonetheless. Is going to take a quick look around, but no sign of them.
Well, they went down here, so they possibly gonna. If they went to a corner, it must have been back here. That's still the nearest corner they got.
Yeah, that's what I would assume as well, but so far no sign of them, so Claudette maybe trying to mind game the Blight a little bit here, as looks like they are nowhere to be found. And Blight's still out on the prowl. Now they risk the Yoichi. So honestly, going for the hook on Yoichi may have been the play here, because even if
Yep.
the Claudette does bleed out, still worth the same amount of points as if you were to get the hook. So now you're playing a dangerous game, as Yoichi has about 3 minutes on the clock before they bleed out.
Yeah, because Yoichi's the closest one at the shack right now. But yeah, Claudette crawled. Who knows where? But this Claudette crawled to a good area apparently. That, or she's very quiet on the floor. They have walked past him at some point.
Yeah, it's very possible. With that being said, now Blight trying to find where the Yoichi is at this point in time. And now you're kind of hunted down for two survivors, but there's the
Oh, wow.
Claudette. Find them
What the-
out of nowhere.
She crawled far.
Yeah, she really did. But now the issue is twofold. A, Hatch is now spawning, but B, Yoichi only has about 2 minutes on the clock, and EGC is going to be a full 4 minutes, meaning that unless Yoichi has adrenaline, which they do not, the Blight has to find them before they bleed out, lest they lose 3 points from the bleed out.
Oh, that's a big chunk of that. Yeah, we gotta find this yellow dressed Yoichi right now. They cannot lose him. They have to find it. That's a yellow dressed.
Yeah, it's the
floor.
yellow raincoat, so it definitely stands out, but the Blight unsuccessful in finding them thus far. This would be a huge upset for Tremor, losing to the bleed out here on Yoichi, but only about less than a minute left on the bleed out timer. They're going to have to find them and find them fast. And only time will tell whether or not that will be possible, as Blight was going to check every nook and possible cranny. But there's the blood pool. There's the Yoichi, just in the nick of time. And that there will be the true 4K for Tremor, tying the results here for round number 3. And Battlefy will confirm for me, but that should result in both teams qualifying for Season 7 of Champions of Fog. We'll make the announcements to the teams later today. With that being said, that is going to do it for us here. And that there's the end of Qualifier number 2.
All right, that was some good, intense, some quick matches, some fun matches, some intense ones. I want to say this Blight one was just everywhere, all over the place match.
Yeah, no, the Blight one was definitely intense to say the least. But with that being said, it was quite enjoyable, and thank you
Yeah,
much for joining me here today, Avi.
of course. My pleasure always. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well, with that being said, we are going to be wrapping up today's matches. We'll be live once again next week, once again at 12 p.m. CST for qualifier number 3. So make sure to stop on by and drop a follow if you haven't already, so you can catch us live then and next Sunday as well for qualifier number 4. We are quickly approaching season 7 as we just have 4 more qualifiers left, and then we'll jump right on into the regular season. But with that being said, thank you all for joining us here today. Before we do go, Avi, where can everyone find you next time that you go live?
I am not streaming today. It is my day off, but I will be live tomorrow at about 6:30 p.m. PST with some Dead by Daylight, and I will be splitting it with some Resident Evil 4 remake blind playthrough. So we'll be doing that tomorrow around like 6:30 p.m. PST if you'd like to come by and visit. I am a P108 main and a Blast Mine Gremlin. That is why I'm a fan of people using Blast Mine in matches.
Fair enough, fair enough. And I am your host and Commissioner Guildspire. I'm actually not going to be live pretty much for the entire next week. I'm going to be out in Massachusetts doing some wedding prep with my partner. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to enjoy ourselves. But with that being said, I'll be live again next week, or rather the following week after next week, with some Final Fantasy 14. So make sure to stop on by and say hi then if you are interested in some MMORPGs. But with that being said, thank you all for joining us here today. As a final reminder, you, yes, you, the viewers, are our sponsors. So as they watch, all the bits they tip, all the subs they buy, and of course, the Rogue Energy buy using the code COTF goes supporting Champions of the Fog and the prize pool for Group A and Group B. Last but not least, if you haven't already, please stop by our YouTube channel where we are trying to hit 1,000 followers, where we are currently trying to get partnered over on YouTube. Would be very appreciated and would be a huge support to us here at Champions of the Fog. With that being said, guys, we will see you next time. Bye-bye!
Goodbye.